All right, I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm actually going to defend sincerely a Primerica representative who put out a supposed cringe video regarding life insurance in response to a death. Let's take a look and see the reaction. This is from Alonzo's MLM Top Fails number 68 video. I'm going to let this roll, hear her response, and then give you my thoughts to his response, and then also to hers as we proceed.
So yesterday, I started training at a part-time job. Got to know all my fellow employees, and we're, joking around with friends as we had our lunch and in the break room. This one guy was eating his meal at the same table as me. Sometime after that break, that same coworker who I was sharing lunchtime with had a cardiac event. And they called 911, the paramedics came. We were all asking our supervisors today, how was he? And our supervisor had to regretfully tell us he didn't make it, that he didn't survive his cardiac event. I'd only known him for 5 hours, and he was gone. Still trying to process my thoughts about it. Today, while I was training, I was feet away from where it'll happen. But this whole event just impressed upon me more how much I value being a part of Primerica and helping families find coverage and protection for when the unthinkable happens, because you never know how much time you have.
All right, so you can obviously tell by this woman's reaction, she's shocked and appalled, right? But really, think about it. If you are just getting started in the life insurance business, or you're in it, or even if you're not, put aside the skepticism and cynicism we all have today about what we see online. On some level, you can understand the man's reaction, right? If you don't have life insurance, it's terrible. It really is. You die, you don't have coverage. What's going to happen to the man's family? What's going to happen to somebody's family, your family, if you don't have coverage? This guy is in a position, forget that it's with Primerica, where he can help people. And so you're in this position where you're selling something. It actually makes a tremendous difference and impact in the person's lives. And what is he not supposed to talk about it? Because he literally witnessed somebody in person and died? You can't do anything right in this position, it seems like, from some people's perspective. And I guess that's kind of where I'm going with. It's like, look, he could be lying about it. We don't know. I'm taking it at face value. But is it really that bad for him to come out and say, this is why I'm glad I'm with Primerica? I'm glad I'm a life insurance agent. It's not even really a Primerica issue. Is this cringe? What are you supposed to do? If you're in this position of power to be able to help and affect somebody with the ability to potentially prevent maybe somebody out there watching from dying and not having a policy, isn't that your obligation morally? Let's continue.
Now, I don't know if my fellow coworker had coverage or not, or if his family's going to have to scare up a GoFundMe or whatever. But I do want to impress upon you that can watch this. Don't wait. You're never younger or healthier than you are today, probably. Don't let the fear of the cost of getting life insurance stop you from the call.
Look, there's nothing he's saying that isn't true. Is it a sales pitch? It could be. Even if it is a sales pitch, so what? This isn't wrong. The fact that somebody died doesn't change the facts, especially if he's speaking to somebody that may not have gotten coverage if he didn't say anything. So I'm just not feeling wrong or unethical or whatever.
It costs you nothing to schedule some conversation with me. Nothing at all. And we can find you something that gets you protected and provides for your family if the worst should happen. So that they're at least not having to worry about the expense of all that and the debt and the loss of income. So, you never know how much time you have. Not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around what happened this past couple days and asking you, reach out to me. See what we can do to help you.
Using someone's death to peddle your MLM. We hate to see it. And the drama! The furrowed brow, the somber music in the background, the exhales, the slow, dramatic storytelling. Like, if you're trying to manipulate people's emotions for the sake of your sales pitch, just say that, my dude. This is in such poor taste. I am cringing so hard at it. This poor person was a complete stranger who passed away in a very sudden and unexpected way, and your first thought is to get home and set up your tripod to film yourself using that person's death to pitch your MLM. That is foul. That's what always gets me.
I think one of the most effective things in being a life insurance agent is actually experiencing death as a mature person. When you see somebody die as an adult, you see the cost of it, you see the catastrophe that it caused, maybe even as a kid. And I guess that may be off-putting to some people, but I just couldn't imagine being that guy sitting there talking and watching a guy collapse to the floor and dying of a heart attack, right? Like right in front of me, the guy was alive and he was conversing, he was at the job, and then he's dead the next moment. How are you supposed to react? And then you couple that with the fact that this guy has a license. He has the ability to not prevent death, but prevent the expenses that may completely burden a surviving family or spouse. How does he not have the obligation to share his experience? I mean, at the same time, how can you not come off as being like you're trying to sell somebody? It's not like this guy is at the funeral and he gets up and talks about how you guys should buy a life insurance policy from me. This is perfect time. Then maybe that's a little bit too much, right? But this guy is using an experience that, frankly, we all go through at some point where there's this like aha realization moment where the importance of life insurance is real. And unfortunately, I just think we live in a society where a dude can't get on the internet, create a video without being thought of as a skeptic. People are thinking they're skeptical of him. They think they're cynical about it. It's all about the money. It's all about this and that. It's a shame, really. I think that's the bigger issue, is nobody can really trust anybody in their delivery if it's in good faith or not. But my point with all of this is none of this is what he's saying is not true. And I think there's an argument to be made if being this person who went through this experience, having the capability to share and help with others, if he didn't do that, is that more unethical than doing what he did, perhaps not as perfectly delivered as possible? It's my argument.
The things that MLM reps post on social media, this video had to pass through multiple mental screening checkpoints on his part before it wound up on the internet for everyone to see. First, he had to come up with the idea to connect someone's death to a sales pitch. Then he had to think about what to say and how to phrase it. Then he had to go through the act of filming it. Then he had to watch it back and add captions to it. And still, after all of that, he still thought to himself, yep, this is appropriate, and clicked post.
Yeah, my reaction to that is the reality is that that's what you do in this business. When you see something that's so serious where everything else pales in comparison to the death of somebody and you witness it, it's a big deal. And so what if he went through the process of thinking through this or whatever she's attempting to claim as if this is some sort of cringe deal? I think set aside the MLM side of it. I didn't hear anything about recruiting. I didn't hear anything about that. We could sit here and argue, is he recruiting? Maybe he would be, maybe he isn't. But what he's doing is delivery was, I can help you so you're not in this position. That's exactly what a life insurance agent is supposed to do. I mean, it seems like this guy can't do anything right. If he doesn't go out there and share what he can do to help people, he's a bad guy. I would say so. And then if he does share what he does and he shares an experience, he's an even worse guy. I mean, what are you going to do?
That's wild, dude. He had like 5 solid opportunities to reconsider his choice in making this video, and he still did it anyway. Some people's moral compass is so far off track, it is nearly unfathomable. But in these moments, I have to remind myself that being in an MLM company is a massive contributing factor for this kind of whack behavior. Being in an MLM makes you do things you would not otherwise do. That's what I believe.
It's a lot of preconceived opinions. We don't know what this guy was told or not told to do. We don't know if he's brainwashed on the Kool-Aid or not. We don't know to what extent he's a true believer or not. if this is all true, and I'm taking the guy at his word, and I don't know if there's any underhanded opinion on it or approach to it, but can we all agree, like if you just witness somebody dying, that it may move you to share how you can help people? Is that so bad? I mean, think about other products out there. I'm sure there are other people who sell products or services that when they witness somebody who is a customer, who wasn't a customer, and they go through something and they don't have that particular product or service, to then go share that. Do we think that they're unethical? No, I don't. I think they're doing their job and they're trying to help to prevent somebody from being in that same circumstance. And this is no different, even if it's associated with what many think to be as a pretty big MLM, full of a bunch of people on the Kool-Aid. Like, that doesn't change the reality and the nature of the motivation behind this, potentially. And I don't know what the guy's truly thinking. Hopefully it's all in good intent, but it's to help people prevent this from happening to them.
Because you get blinded by the earning potential and you don't think clearly about the situation when there's money involved. You start to view the world in terms of dollar signs and sales pitches. So knowing that, it does kind of make sense that he would take someone's tragedy and turn it into a sales pitch.
So how are you going to sell life insurance otherwise? Life insurance is another word for death insurance. I mean, the nature of life insurance is to prevent financial calamity when somebody dies unexpectedly. So you therefore, by default, have to use death, the potential for it, some mixture of fear and the reality behind it to sell it. There's nothing unethical about it. It's uncomfortable. But where do we draw the line here? The guy's not at a funeral home in front of a bunch of people grieving this person's death, pitching them. He's on his phone posting a TikTok. Okay, there's a lot of offensive stuff all over the place on TikTok. This is the least of them. At least out of this, there can be some good that can be done. Again, you can argue, well, Primerica life insurance sucks. Well, okay, but something's better than nothing, and he's in the position to help people. What's so bad about that? Again, life insurance is about death. How can you avoid this conversation? If we don't go out there as life insurance agents and promote this reality, whether it's on the internet or in person, to our prospects, how are we going to motivate people to make a decision? That's the other side of this to consider too, is that most people don't want to buy life insurance. They don't want to think about dying until it's happened to somebody else or they've had a health scare. And so the nature of our job requires us to talk about these uncomfortable, seemingly cringe-worthy topics, maybe to some that perhaps have not been in those circumstances.
It's like your brain is rewired to start thinking that way. Do you really think if he wasn't in Primerica that he would have posted this video? Look, I get it.
Yeah, that's besides the point. Of course not. He's a life insurance agent. I think you're looking at it from the Primerica angle. Look at it from the life insurance side. Let's, again, assume the guy is telling the truth and we're taking him on good faith, right? That's a big leap for a lot of us. But if that's the case, it's not a function of Primerica. It's a function of his job as a licensed life insurance agent. And he has to talk about this stuff if he wants to motivate people to buy. People don't buy life insurance like they buy bread and groceries. They have to be motivated to buy. And that's a combination of talking about real life scenarios, potentialities, and the fear of explaining the reality, which can cause fear of what happens if you're not prepared. And yeah, I mean, look, probably wouldn't talk about this, but that's besides the point. He's a licensed life insurance agent, and this is what you talk about as an agent.
Look, I get it. Death, it's imminent for all of us. We have no idea when it's going to happen, and that's terrifying, and it is a good plan to have life insurance. But I think it would be very unlikely for just any old person to make a video like this about a stranger's death to remind us that we need to get life insurance, unless you're the one who wants to sell the life insurance. And he makes it...
So, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not like he's thieving. It's not like he's taking personal information from the video about the person who died and sharing it with everybody. This is nonsense. It's besides the point. The reality is that, of course, it's his job. If that's the logic you're going to have in calling this guy immoral or unethical because he's talking about dying and getting life insurance because of experience, well, then extrapolate that to anything else. You know, you wouldn't be on YouTube doing videos if you didn't want to collect ad revenue and sell stuff. You're a bad person. Well, no, it's just what you do. It's your job. Likewise, that's kind of how I look at this guy. There's just no easy way to get around it. It is what it is. Death happens. It's shocking. It's appalling. It's unexpected. And in his position as a licensed insurance agent, this is how you make a living. And it's important to share these stories that people frankly don't want to hear, because there are some people in the mix that watch it and realize, yeah, that's important. And I should be prepared because I don't want that to happen.
And he makes it crystal clear that he wants to sell us something, because he literally says that it's free to schedule a call with him. And he ends his video by saying, reach out to me so I can help set you up. Trying to profit off of somebody else's death, that's bad karma. Don't be like this person, okay? Promise me, promise me. I beg of you.
Yeah, that's BS. I mean, the idea that you're a bad person by selling something and you're using a real world example as a impetus to not do it is stupid. Look, there's just no easy way to understand this. He has a moral obligation. He's a licensed agent. Of course, he's going to want to help. This is a problem a lot of people have with salespeople, and it's usually the most vocal ones that don't like sales. But most people, in my experience, they understand that if the salesperson's intent, and that's kind of the problem here, is we don't know the man's intent. We're assuming a lot, or at least she is. If the intent is pure or close to pure, you want to help people to prevent this from happening. It's okay that you sell something and transact and create value. Like, that's how our country is run. We sell stuff to people. Hopefully it's good. It helps them out. They get value out of it. In exchange for the value is profit. Profit's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's representative of the value we deliver. We hope so. Obviously, there's examples where it's not, and it's a scam. But in this case, Primerica, this is the leading thing on my video, and certainly hers, as I've watched this. This is the first time I've watched this. This really isn't a Primerica issue. This is the nature of selling life insurance. And if you can't talk about somebody dying and your experiences to help people see visually different about the importance of buying, well, how are you going to help people? And then if we have a whole society of life insurance agents that can't talk about death or share an experience about death because, oh, they might sell something, using her logic, nobody's going to sell any life insurance. Sales are going to collapse. And what's going to end up happening is a lot of people who would have died in the future won't have coverage, and their families are going to be financially burdened in inexplicable ways. You know, maybe a little bit of cringe. Perhaps this video wasn't perfect, but at least it goes a step forward to try to help people from potential for this kind of stuff happening. So long story short, my takeaway here is this. Your job as a life insurance agent is to help people, okay? And you shouldn't feel bad about using circumstances that you experienced and then using that as an angle to sell a policy. As long as you're not ripping people off or lying or doing things that are actually unethical, there's no problem using life experience as a reason why people should talk to you, converse with you, or look at options. That's your job, okay? If you don't use those angles, and I say angles in the sense of like reasons why and explanations as to why you should do something, if you're not going to do that, you're going to not help people. So, and understand in society, I don't know Alonzo here for anything, and I'm not explicitly speaking of her, but there's a whole category of people out there that for whatever reason are going to categorize you unfairly. They're going to say, you know, you're a salesperson, you're a peddler, even like you're an MLMer, and you know, you're a bad person because you are using these instances in life to sell and make money. But the problem with that is that there's not a full perspective here. What are they getting in exchange for the sale? They're getting peace of mind and protection from a good company. Primerica is a good life insurance company. You could take away its recruiting practices, hold another section or discussion. But they do help people and insure people. That's good. That's not a bad thing. And the truth is, she does the same thing with whatever she sells. So does everybody else that sells anything in life. We use real life examples to make our case. So don't be shy. Don't be worrisome about what people will think. Everybody's got an opinion. In your heart of hearts, you feel that you need to share an experience, and the benefit could be that people get coverage. And even if you profit, it's okay. It doesn't have to be a pro bono thing for it to be good. Profit is fine, especially if you're not leveraging or lying or any of that. And I don't think this guy did at all. So what do you think? Am I over top here? Am I wrong with my opinion? Is this guy really cringe? Somebody bad? Let me know in the chat here. I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. If you like more information on selling insurance, I'm creating a video to promote my agency. You can go to daviddufour.com. We recruit life insurance agents to sell final expense remotely using free leads. And again, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.